The body, this is the bill that would change the year in which we take up the biannual budget. Mr. President, as the body is fully aware, and we have discussed the topic at a different time, right now, when the governor comes into office, he is she is presented with a budget that the foregoing governor introduced, and they are only able to make amendments. With the change that this bill would have of switching only the words odd and even, an incoming governor would have 1 year left of the preceding governor's budget and then would present their own 2-year budget. At the end of that, they would present another 2-year budget for which they would still be in office for at least a portion of that. This returns, in my opinion, accountability back to the executive branch by requiring them to live with the decisions that they present in the budget. Mr. President, again, I move the bill pass.
Thank you, Senator. Senior Senator from Fairfax, Senator Saslaw.
Mr. President, speaking of the bill, I'm opposed to this. This is not a good idea. Let me give you some reasons. The only way you could implement this, because the Constitution reads that the even-numbered year will be the 60-day session and the odd-numbered year will be the 30-day session, and that's not changed by this bill. The only way you can implement this is when in that odd-numbered year, when you'd be doing the biennial budget, you would have to vote from the get-go to extend that session to 60 days. In the even-numbered year, I would assume that you would then vote to make that only 46 days. In each case, to do each one of those in each of those years would require a 2/3 vote, because you're being guided by the Constitution, and it would take a 2/3 vote on the floor changing the rules to match that. So you've got a situation here where if 14 people in the Senate and 34 in the House decide they want to force you into doing that biennial budget in 30 days, you're stuck. On the other hand, if you got people who feel that we ought to be meeting 60 days, come that even-numbered year, which you would hope to cut to 46 days, if 14 of them don't go along with it, you can't do that. You've got to stay here for 60 days. And the other problem is that right now, when you get elected and you come here, your first few days here, you take part in formulating the budget that you're going to live with for half of that 4-year term, and then you take part 2 years later in that same cycle again. You change it this way, and what you've got is where you come in here, you're now in the second half of your term, because they've already voted for the budget the year before. So now you have reversed the cycle, and your first year here, you would be in the last half of that cycle. But the biggest problem, as I pointed out a few seconds ago, is the mischief that can be caused by 14 people on either side of the aisle. And they can hold you up for whatever they want to stick in that budget, or force you to do it in 30 days. And therein lies the problem.
Mr. President.
For what purpose does the Senator
Would the Senator yield for a question?
Certainly.
The Senator yields. Senator from Hanover, Senator McDougle.
Mr. President, does the Constitution not read that the current session we are in shall extend no longer than 30 days?
That's correct.
From Fairfax, Senator Saslaw.
That would be correct, sir, unless we vote by 2/3 to extend it up to 60 days.
Senator from Hanover, Senator McDougle.
Mr. President, would the Senator yield for additional question?
The Senator yield for an additional question. Senator yield. Senator from Hanover, Senator McDougle.
Mr. President, is it not the general practice of this body and the body down the hall that we enter into a procedural resolution at the beginning of the sessions, setting the time period for which we will meet?
Senior Senator from Fairfax, Senator Saslaw.
We've routinely done that, and I might say to Senator McDougle, Mr. President, that there's no cause, there's no probability of mischief, because the Constitution says that in the first year, the even year of that biennium, you're there for 60 days, and you can't be held hostage by anybody who wants to do it in 30 days.
Senator from Hanover, Senator McDougle.
Mr. President, would the senator yield for additional question?
Will Senator yield for an additional question?
Yes.
Senator from Hanover, Senator McDougle.
Would the senator not agree that based on the Constitution, even in the 60-day session, if the bodies, this one and the one down the hall, do not agree to the procedural resolution, then there's no length of time that is set. The Constitution only provides for a session up to 60 days, and the procedural resolution is the one that actually sets the time frame. It could be, if a group wanted to limit it to 15 days now, that could be done.
Senior Senator from Fairfax, Senator Saslaw.
I'd have to take a look at that. I suspect, I don't know. I would have to take a look at that.
Senator from Hanover, Senator McDougle.
I thank the gentleman.
Thank you, sir. Senior Senator from Fairfax, Senator Saslaw.
As I said before, it would be real easy for a few people to hold us hostage, and therein lies the problem. And after witnessing what occurred earlier in today's session, I wouldn't put anything past anybody. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, sir. Question is, shall the bill pass? All in favor of the motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senators desire to change their votes? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 20, noes 20.
Ayes 20, noes 20. The chair votes aye. The bill passes.